What the hell is up, everybody? Thank you all for stopping by. So today we're talking about Overwatch 2 supports. If you know anything about playing support in Overwatch, whether you're a support main, a tank main, or a DPS main, it doesn't matter. You know that support roles in Overwatch play a crucial role in keeping your team alive and pushing towards that victory every game. But playing support efficiently takes more than just healing and buffing your teammates. So here are 5 tips to help you get better at support in Overwatch 2 in just 1 week. Make sure that you guys stay till the end of this video, because the 4th and 5th tip are probably the most crucial tips in this video. And the hat's back on, because my hair is absolutely terrible. Okay, the first tip that I can give you guys is just staying alive. And I know that like half of you are going to click off of this, but it is very true. You need to stay alive to be able to capitalize on your healing and saving all of your team. As a support player, your survival is crucial to your team's success. So if you die as a support in a fight, your team is crippled and the enemy team will capitalize on that. So to avoid dying more often, make sure that you're positioning yourself safely behind cover or near any tanks, and always keeping an eye out for flankers like Sombra, Tracer, or Cassidy. And with that, try to use your abilities wisely to heal and protect yourself whenever necessary. Meaning, don't spam them whenever you get your abilities back. Try to only spam your abilities when you think it's the right time and you're in the middle of like a stressful team fight or something like that. An example would be, if there's a Genji diving you as Ana, try to use your sleep grenade to get him off your back so that you can continue to support your team as necessary. But instead of spamming your sleep grenade throughout the fight and risking the chance that you don't have either for when the Genji dives you, try to save them for very intense or stressful situations and heal with your main source of healing accordingly. There are always right times and wrong times to use abilities. If you practice using your abilities wisely for the next week or so, then I know that you'll be a pro at it. There are never games that will result in absolutely 0 deaths unless you're a crazy Grandmaster Mercy, but as long as you're seeing yourself dying less than your tanks and DPS, then you know that you're doing something right. Another example would be, say that you're playing Mercy. If you notice that the enemy team has 2 hit scans and an Ana, then you should probably stay out of their lines of sight to try to maximize your healing. Because if you die, that's 1 less player to support your tank throughout the team fight and even your DPS. Most of the time, unless you have crazy DPS or a crazy tank, then your team will not come out with a victory at that 4v5. So tip number 2 is to prioritize healing. And I know that all the support mains are going to hate me for saying this. Healing is your primary job as a support player. Make sure that you're prioritizing healing your teammates, especially your tanks. There are exceptions though. If you're playing really any support and you get dove by anybody, let's say a Genji, revert to step 1. Try your hardest to stay alive, and after a few seconds, hopefully one of your DPS or your tank will notice this and try to come and help you out. But to help this a little bit, try to ping as much as possible, so your team knows when you're in trouble every time, or something that's even better. Try to join voice chat so that you can call out enemy positions whenever they make a move. This will significantly maximize how much you're able to heal by letting your tanks or DPS know when it's the right time to peel. But this is a no-brainer. You need to pay attention who needs healing the most, and make sure that you're using your abilities effectively to keep your team alive. If you have a Reinhardt that's charging other backlines, 99% of the time he's just going to die on his own, but if you're a Mercy, then you can run in with him and then back out easily. But if you're a BAP or an Ana, try to prioritize the Rein. If you have 2 hit scans that are staying back and a Rein that's pushing in every time, try to prioritize the Rein, and then when you have the chance, turn around and get the hit scans with heals. This also goes back to tip 1, try not to spam your abilities so much. If you're playing BAP, you get your regenerative burst every 15 seconds. So that's a whole 15 seconds if you're spamming that to where you will not have one of your abilities and all you have is your burst fire and your immortality field, which is every 30 seconds. But if you do use these abilities, in between those 15 seconds, try to use your weapon's alternative fire to heal as much as possible, or at least let your team know that you do not have that ability for the next 15 seconds. Tip number 3 is being flexible. Everyone knows that Overwatch is a game of counter and counter picking, but I've seen it so many times, and I personally have this problem, where I'll go the whole game wanting to play my main, but that's just not the case most of the time. A lot of the times the enemy team will try to counterpick you because that's how you win most games. So if I'm playing Ana and the enemies go Genji, I know I'm going to have to switch to Mercy or a way more mobile character. If you think your team is struggling at all, then you have to be willing to switch heroes or just adjust your playstyle to better support your team in any way that you possibly can. Because sometimes your main character you choose, like I said before, might have gotten countered, so you might have to have a few characters under your belt just in case the game goes south. An example would be, if you're playing Zen and you get killed by an enemy Genji 2 times in a row, you better expect that Genji to come back and kill you again. So in that situation, try switching it up a little bit. Try going a more mobile character that maybe isn't on the ground so much, maybe someone like Mercy or BAP, so that if it ever comes down to it and you get dove by that Genji again, you can make it out of the area to a safer spot, or at least to a teammate that can back you up. But every support hero is good for different situations. It's just about how you adapt to the situations, and this will take practice. There is nothing wrong if you can't adapt right away, so as long as you try out different characters and different playstyles for every character for the next week, it will start to become more smooth on how you adapt to different players' playstyles and different characters' playstyles. Because sometimes a different hero or even a different strategy can be the difference in turning a game around. So probably the most crucial tip in this video, number 4, is positioning. As a support player, you need to be aware of your positioning at all times. One simple mistake like stepping in the crosshairs of a Widow could cost you a whole point of a map or a decent part of a push map. So with that said, you definitely want to be close enough to your team to heal and buff them, but far away enough to avoid enemy fire. This is especially hard when you're first starting off because you want to be close enough to be able to heal your teammates, but far enough away to where you're not dying first every fight. Once again, like all the other tips in this video, over time it will come to you. But try different things out and see what works for you and your hero. Because lots of playstyles work with all types of heroes, but not everyone plays all playstyles. So just try different things out for yourself and see what works, and repeat those actions until you're able to win games consistently. Some games I'll play super close to my team if the enemy team has an enemy Sombra or like a Tracer, and others I'll play really far if they have a Cassidy or an Ashe, basically someone who has a really strong damage fall off. If you're able to notice early on in games who the enemy team is running, whether they have a flanker or a hit scan that has damage fall off, you'll be able to know who you can run for the rest of that game. Tip number 5 has probably helped me the most with my support gameplay, and that's watching other streamers and content creators. This can be especially helpful to know what to expect once ranking up, or even know how they keep calm in stressful situations. Because all of these tips in this video can be learned over time by watching streamers like ML7 or someone like Sleepy. Both of these streamers have had a long history of making crazy plays, but if you haven't already, definitely go check them out and take notes on their positioning and their ability uses. If you do this, then in my opinion, I think you'll be able to grow as a support player a lot quicker than just trying them out for yourself. They have tons of content on YouTube, but they both stream on Twitch as well. You can watch them on Twitch and see how they play and really sit down and analyze how you can implement their style into your playstyle. This is kind of a little sick step, but if you're playing Ana and you made it this far into the video, if you're playing on console, this doesn't really work on PC, but if you're looking to play a different support this season on console, try out Ana. If you go into Ana's settings and you go to her teammate aim assist, bump that shit up to like 50, 60, 70, 80, whatever works for you. I hated playing Ana when I had this setting turned off. I was never able to hit shots, and watching someone like ML7 do the crazy quick scopes over and over again while jumping and avoiding all enemies, it pissed me off, genuinely pissed me off. But if you're trying to genuinely get better as Ana on console, then turn this one setting on and I guarantee that you will start to skyrocket the ranks. So that's going to wrap up the video today, guys. If you made it this far into the video, I really do appreciate you, but quick, hit that like button because they're coming.